Hi, and welcome to episode 97 of Toke Signals TV, where we bring you the biggest in cannabis and hemp news stories every week. I'm Steve Elliott, the editor at TokeSignals.com, and I'll be guiding you through the news. First, let's look at our bud pick of the week. We have some Dutch Passion here, 5 weeks into flower, about 3 weeks to go. This picture comes to us from a reader somewhere in Australia. Nice work. Let's do the news now, shall we? In California, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom says the Golden State will legalize marijuana in 2016. California voters will choose to legalize, tax, and regulate marijuana for adults in the 2016 general election. Lieutenant Governor Newsom predicted on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday. "I'm leading the effort," Newsom added. "As some folks may know, we're very likely to have a ballot initiative in 2016, and we have strong confidence that we'll win," Newsom said. "We got to do it right and be thoughtful and deal with the legitimate concerns folks have about our children and not allowing big tobacco come in and do big marijuana," Newsom said. "So we want to do it in a very thoughtful way, and we want to have that opportunity next year." Lieutenant Governor Newsom has been working with a Blue Ribbon Commission on legalization. Its findings were released this summer. An initiative is expected soon. A winning marijuana legalization initiative campaign could cost $500,000 or more, and that's just for paid signature gatherers, never mind the ads. Those will run a cool $10 million or so, and that's assuming no major opposition. Speaking of California and legalization, the California Cannabis Hemp Initiative Signature Drive is set to begin on October 31st. CCHI 2016 is organizing a statewide infrastructure of volunteers and activists in a drive to qualify for the November 8, 2016 ballot. The group's signature drive is set to begin October 31st, 2015 and last through April 21st, 2016. And CCHI 2016 will have just under 180 days to gather 600,000 signatures to qualify for the ballot, according to proponent Michael Jolson. "We are at a 30-year low in the amount of signatures needed to qualify an initiative for the California ballot," Jolson wrote in a Wednesday fundraising email. "We will need to gather 365,880 signatures. In order to attain the necessary signatures, we will need to gross around 600,000 signatures by April 21st. We will submit our signatures into the counties on April 26, 2016. We are building our grassroots volunteer infrastructure in preparation for our upcoming signature drive," Jolson said. "The more volunteers and activists we can get to help us organize our grassroots effort, the better chance we have of qualifying for the November 8, 2016 ballot. We need to raise massive support throughout California," Jolson said. "We need help coordinating volunteers in all 58 counties and are organizing regional coordinators for this task. We are growing as a grassroots political movement towards 100% ending the prohibition of cannabis hemp," Jolson said. "We are gaining interest every day. We, the CCHI 2016, look forward to having your help with all our grassroots effort to end the prohibition of cannabis hemp in California." A disturbing story from Texas this week as police search a woman's vagina for marijuana in a parking lot. A Texas woman says sheriff's deputies violated constitutional protections by conducting a body cavity search in the parking lot of a gas station during a routine traffic stop last June. Charnesia Corley, 21, was driving in Harris County about 10:30 p.m. on June 21st when a male deputy pulled her over, allegedly for running a stop sign. He claimed he smelled marijuana. He handcuffed Corley. He put her in the back of his cruiser and searched her vehicle for almost an hour. He wasn't able to find any weed, according to Corley's attorney, Sam Kamek. Returning to his cruiser, the deputy again claimed he smelled marijuana and called in a female deputy to conduct a body cavity search. When the female deputy arrived, she ordered Corley, who is African American, to pull her pants down. But Corley protested, saying she was handcuffed and had no panties on. The deputy ordered Corley to bend over, then pulled down her pants and began to insert her fingers into Corley's vagina. "She tells me to pull my pants down," Corley said. "I said, 'Ma'am, I don't have any underwear on.' She says, 'Well, that doesn't matter. Pull your pants down,' Corley said. I bend over and she proceeds to try to force her hand inside of me," Corley said. I tell her, "Ma'am, no, you cannot do this." Corley stood up to protest, and the deputy threw her to the ground and restrained her while another female was called in to assist. When the backup deputy arrived, the two of them held Corley's legs apart and conducted the vaginal probe. What these officers did out there at the Texaco station was unconscionable, said Comment. I've worked many big cases and I've never seen that. Comment plans to sue the Harris County Sheriff's Office in federal court. It's undeniable that the search is unconstitutional, Kamek said. He also plans to file a complaint with the Harris County Sheriff's Internal Affairs Division. The Sheriff's Office said they wouldn't comment on an ongoing investigation, but confirmed an incident took place. Incredibly, a spokesperson for the Harris County Sheriff's Department told local TV station ABC 13 that the deputies did everything as they should. And so there you have it, wrote Radley Balco in the Washington Post. Holding a woman down and forcibly penetrating her vagina to search for pot is official policy in Harris County. As pointed out by Balco, since anything under 4 ounces of cannabis isn't a felony in Texas, Corley was forced to the ground, stripped, and penetrated to search for evidence that at worst would have amounted to a misdemeanor, which means the Harris County Sheriff's Department believes it's perfectly acceptable to allow a stranger to forcibly penetrate a woman's vagina to prevent her from possessing a personal use quantity of marijuana. A public cavity search is in violation of common protocol for the Harris County Sheriff's Office, admitted Robert Gorlitz, president of the Harris County Sheriff's Deputies Organization. Gorlitz said that in his years of training deputies, he has never taught a roadside cavity search. I can't really say I've ever heard of that happening before, Gorlitz said. That's kind of shocking to me. A cavity search with no warrant is a blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment, according to Rebecca Robertson, Legal and Policy Director of the American Civil Liberties Union of Texas. Robertson added that an orifice search is the most invasive search possible. A body cavity search without a warrant would be constitutionally suspect, Robertson said, but a body cavity search by the side of the road? I can't imagine a circumstance where that would be constitutional. According to court documents, Corley was arrested for possession of marijuana and for resisting arrest. The cops claim she pushed a deputy with her hip, and kicked her with her foot. ABC 13 reports deputies seized half a gram of marijuana, but they didn't say where it was found. In Missouri, in happier news, a man serving life in prison for marijuana has been granted parole. In a case of justice long delayed, a Missouri man serving life without parole for marijuana will be released soon from a maximum security prison, according to the man's son. Jeff Mazansky was told on Monday morning that he has been granted parole, according to his son, Chris Mazansky. Chris said his dad should be released within 10 to 25 days. Now, according to Chris, his dad called him briefly Monday morning to share the good news. They plan to talk again Monday night. Jeff Mazansky has already been behind bars for more than 2 decades for marijuana offenses. He is now 62 years old. My father has been in prison since he was 41, reads part of a Change.org petition for Mazansky's release. His parents, my grandparents, have since passed, while my dad has been trapped behind bars. Generations of kids and grandkids have been born into our family who have never even met the man. The state of Missouri spends roughly $22,000 a year to keep him locked up, the petition reads. Meanwhile, all my dad wants to do is be a productive part of society, work and pay taxes, be with his family, and I want my dad back. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon in May commuted Mazansky's sentence, allowing him to be considered for parole. The hearing was held last week. In Oregon this week, federal lawmakers urged the state to speed up its industrial hemp program. U.S. Congress members from Oregon on Monday urged state agricultural officials to speed up a pilot project, allowing farmers to begin cultivating industrial hemp crops in time for next year's growing season. The federal lawmaker said in a letter that the program missed the 2015 growing season because of concerns in the Oregon legislature over how hemp would coexist with the marijuana industry, which became legal for recreational use by adults in Oregon on July the 1st. Industrial hemp cultivation faces a number of complications, including the fact that all forms of cannabis are federally illegal. Prosecutors have cautiously allowed state hemp experiments to inch forward. In the letter sent to Oregon Department of Agriculture Director Katie Koba and Oregon State University Director of the College of Agricultural Sciences Daniel Arp, lawmakers said provisions in last year's Farm Bill allow states and universities to research potential benefits from commercial hemp cultivation. The potential for industrial hemp production represents a great opportunity for Oregon agriculture, the lawmakers wrote. Oregon, which has issued 13 hemp licenses to farmers since adopting rules for the program in January, is reviewing the letter, according to Agriculture Department spokesman Bruce Pocarney. The agency is currently considering whether to start up the hemp program for the 2016 growing season. I don't think there's any indication that we're not moving forward, Pocarney said defensively. ARC couldn't immediately be reached for comment. State officials are currently visiting hemp farms to make sure they are in compliance with growing regulations. Farmers can grow hemp for a $1,500 licensing fee, and testing to confirm their crop doesn't contain enough THC to get anyone high. Industrial hemp grown in Oregon must by law contain less than 0.3% THC, the principal high-inducing substance in cannabis. In Colorado this week, the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce warned against the overregulation of edible products. The Colorado Cannabis Chamber of Commerce on Wednesday urged against a culture of dangerous potential overregulation of legal cannabis edibles in the state. At the HB 13-1361 and HB 14-1366 work group meeting on August 11th, the Marijuana Enforcement Division of the Department of Revenue in Colorado discussed with various stakeholders the creation of new rules surrounding all edible cannabis products. The Chamber also stands behind the consensus at the meeting regarding standard measurement procedures and the need for public education to always be the number one priority. However, many proposed new regulations on edible products could create a strong negative impact, not only on legal licensed compliant marijuana businesses throughout Colorado, but also on public safety for adults and children alike, according to the Chamber. The more we encourage overregulation, the more we risk pushing marijuana activity back onto the black market and into home kitchens without oversight or any regulation whatsoever, said Tyler Henson, president of the Cannabis Chamber. Furthermore, the Chamber announced it is disappointed in the letter that was signed by many of our state legislators. They asked the Marijuana Enforcement Division to ignore the rule of law and create rules based on false propaganda that has been perpetuated by prohibitionists. And that's a quote. The letter that was signed by 85 state legislators is troubling, Henson said. The letter is riddled with misleading information and asked the MED to create rules based off intent rather than what the bill mandates the state to enact. The Chamber has spoken to a dozen legislators whose name appeared on the letter. All of them said they did not recall signing the letter or did not understand that the MED would take such a drastic measure towards inhibiting the cannabis industry. In both rulemaking and legislation, we must make sure not to violate the will of the people of Colorado, said Representative Steve Lebsock of Thornton, Colorado. And violating the spirit of Amendment 20 and Amendment 64 is not an option. 1 ounce means 1 ounce, period, Lebsock said. We cannot change the state constitution by promulgating rules. I trust the people of Colorado. It's time we listen to the people and stop attempting to make legislation or rulemaking which attempts to reverse the will of the people. While these activists and regulators have excellent intentions, mandating excessive stamping and packaging requirements won't stop irresponsible adults allowing products to accidentally end up in the hands of kids, according to the Chamber. You cannot regulate common sense, Henson said. The Cannabis Chamber sees many of these proposed rules bearing an end result of increased costs, closed businesses, and decreased tax revenue, but not better public safety. What everyone heard and saw this week from so many innovative businesses and various manufacturers is that the cannabis industry is privately taking the initiative and leading the way on proper, effective solutions for the edibles market here in Colorado, said Henson. We applaud the legislators who did not sign this letter for seeing what its true intent was, Henson said. The legislators took a stand to adhere and protect the Constitution, and we will work with these legislators to educate our state legislature and continue toward a positive and prosperous future. In Washington this week, in a TokeSignals.com story, an activist group exposed secret law enforcement meetings on medical marijuana. A group of Washington state medical marijuana patient activists has exposed secret law enforcement meetings on medical cannabis held by Washington State Liquor Control Board officials as they prepared to extend their authority to medicinal cannabis in the state as they implement I-502 the recreational marijuana legalization initiative approved by state voters back in 2012. The announcement from the board of directors of the Vipers Club is reproduced in its entirety on Toke Signals. Before we go this week, there is a must-read on Toke Signals. It's about my latest banning from Facebook. It's called If the Truth Hurts, Censor It. Seattle Hemp Fest has journalist's Facebook account shut down. Now, apparently, Seattle Hemp Fest really doesn't want you to know about Hemp Fest Vice President John Davis's support for legislation which ended medical marijuana as we've known it in Washington state for 17 years. Hemp Fest is so adamant that you don't hear a speech in which Davis endorses SB 5052 that they convinced social media behemoth Facebook to shut down my account merely for posting a link to a speech in which Davis clearly endorses the legislation. My account has been suspended for 30 days, including the ability to post, like, and comment, conveniently covering this weekend when HempFest, once a protestable but now little more than a big bucks trade show for moneyed I-502 interests, is held. Until we see you next time, stay lifted.